Hi everyone, and welcome to Valley Crafty Corner. I have a scrapbook process to share with you today. I chose this Maggie Holmes paper. It's the sky print, and actually what I've done is I actually had a piece of this in a haul. It was the paper pads. So I actually used that piece of paper from the kit, and so with that being said, the back side of the double-sided paper had the script kind of letter almost wrote on it. So you'll see me use that. So that's how I could get away with using that, because you wouldn't be able to do that if it was double-sided paper. So here I took like a collage of a whole bunch of different photos from a trip I had at Christmas time out to Manitoba visiting family. And we went sledding at the Forks, and I have never been there before, but if you ever get a chance to go to the Forks, it's such a cool place to go. Anyway, we went tobogganing there. So just to kind of make the photos fit in a little better, I took white cardstock and I matted each of the photos onto that. And then here you see me taking this mask that came in the kit, and I'm using some gesso paint, and I'm just kind of stenciling the mask here a little bit. And I shouldn't have lifted it up, but I wanted to see what it looked like. But when I lifted it up and then set it back down, it kind of smooshed the paint out a little bit. So it didn't look really good on that first side of where it was, but where I've done kind of like more towards the end, it looks a little better. I think next time I would maybe use a little bit less paint. So here I'm just kind of just keep going along and making the mask work for me. And I just wanted to kind of try something different. I can't say I'm totally happy with how this layout turned out, but I like the idea of how it turned out. So here you can see that mask, and I really like how it turned out in some spots. And then I just flipped it over for the negative, and I'm going to take a rag and just kind of press that negative print down. And I really like that. I really like how that turned out. I'm not too keen on the whole mask and the gesso part, but these parts here where I've just done the negative part, and you can hardly see it up in the top right corner there, but I really like how it just gave it a little bit, and I'm just trying to clean up that one edge with that rag. So this layout came together relatively quickly because I kind of had an idea of where I wanted to go. Again, I'm not completely satisfied with the results on this one, but that's sometimes how it goes. I don't totally hate the layout, I just don't, it's not how I wanted it to turn out in the end. And then here I just fast forwarded. I just was drying the ink up a bit, just so, because I'm really impatient and I wanted to kind of get this layout done a little quicker. So here I kind of just laid out each of those, so it kind of made like a cluster of pictures. And that all smiles piece, that is, I believe, a printable. That and that other card, that 4x6 card, that is printable as well. That came that I printed out from the kit. And this tape is from Dear Lizzie, and I think it's for the 5th and Frolic, or it could be for the new Lucky Charm collection. It almost looks like 5th and Frolic just because of some of the colors, but the navy in that stripe kind of throws me off a little bit. So, and then here is some of that ribbon. It's kind of like arrow-headed ribbon from the Amy Tangerine, and I debated on putting it up on the top, but I don't. And then here I'm just kind of tucking some washi tape underneath this photo that I thought might look good, but it contrasts with the washi tape up on the top. It's not the right colors, so I don't actually end up using this at all. So you'll see me take that off in a little bit. And there's just a little white wet spot there, so I just dabbed it with my rag. And I just cut off that little tag there. It says all smiles, so I didn't want to use the whole thing up, so I just cut half of it off. And that little stamp set that came in this month's kit, so I'll try and use that here. So what I did is I took that letter kind of piece of paper, and it had a whole bunch of like a little story wrote on it in script font. So what I did is I'm using that as my title, and it says little moments that make me gloriously happy. And I'm going to use that as my title. And I'm going to cut out one of these little ribbon pieces that has this sun and cloud, and I'm going to tuck it behind, and I'm going to use that rub-on in that spot there. And then I think I'm trying to figure out if I want to add another printable, and I pull up this chevron arrow kind of looking thing, and I like the placement there, but it doesn't, I just kind of tip it in a different direction just because of the way my journaling was. And then all of those little pieces on those packing slip tags, those are all from the printables, and I just keep them on the little tag, just like the shipping tag, just so that I can find them easily at hand and flip through them, and they're not kind of at the bottom of my little tray. And here I'm taking some of that ribbon, and I'm going to layer it with those little cutout word pieces from my title. So I'm just kind of mimicking the lines that are in that ribbon because they're like an arrowhead. So I'm kind of cutting everything like an arrow to the point on the one side, and then kind of in the V at the end of it. So you kind of see I've got those 3 little spots for embellishment. And I keep pulling open these brads and buttons because I was thinking about using those little fuzzy blue buttons, but I don't actually end up using them. And I like the idea of these paper clips, and I really wanted to use this kind of like light blue one, but it just added a little too much bulk to the side of the layout, and I just didn't feel right about putting it on the side of the layout. I just knew I would have issues with it putting in the page protector, so I didn't want to put it on the side. Probably going back, I probably maybe should have added it to the top photo there beside that all smiles. I think that would have looked probably cute, I think. So here I'm just going to actually use this rub-on now and stick this down. And I'm just going to take my little bone folder tool, and I'm just using the end of it to kind of like press it down to make a good image. Just making sure it's well and good and comes off pretty well. I missed a couple spots, so that's why my head's in the way here. I was just trying to make sure I got it lined up properly and could rub it back down. I think this layout would have looked maybe a little bit better if I would have maybe layered the pictures rather than keeping them like in a very grid organized kind of way. That's kind of a hindsight 2020 kind of thing. I just think if I would have had them layered and made it look more like the pictures kind of fell onto the page, I think it probably would have looked really cool. And you know, I just never thought of it at the time. So here I'm just sticking down the photos to where they need to be. And then just adding this last one here, and then I think I'm going to go back and start looking at each of those little title phrases where to add everything. And that little cloud printable thing, I just love it. It's so cute. It's like a gray circle, and it's got this little blue cloud with the sun peeking out. I really like how that looks. And And again, just kind of monkeying around with placement here. And the blue was kind of falling a little bit soft against the page, so I knew I needed to add something for a little bit of contrast. So I was kind of keeping that in mind when I was looking for other things to put. And so I thought to kind of maybe ground the page a little bit more, I would add some more of that washi tape. And I liked how that looks, so I'm going to carry that on to each of these little title pieces. So I was liking how that was kind of fitting in a little bit better with the rest of the page. And I think I'm going to some labels. I thought maybe if I added, well, I wanted to add a label to not every one of the photos, but to kind of, you know, have like who was in the photo and stuff like that, because there was a lot of photos on this page, just to remember who was who in the layout, just for further reference. So here I'm just kind of laying each of these little labels out with the title to see how that fits. And just looking at some more of these printables. I know this part's probably really boring for you guys, I'm sorry. And just adding another, I think the other one's yellow and this one's kind of more of an orangey. So I wanted to kind of bring in some other colors, because there was a lot of coloring in those washi tape and in that little arrow chevron printable piece. So I just wanted to add a little bit more color to kind of correlate to what was going on. So I found this one that's kind of like a pinky color. I don't think this one was in the printable. I think this one was maybe a here and there one. And I just trimmed this arrow ribbon down just because it was a little too long. And here I'm just going to start sticking things down, and just to kind of make it all fit in, I kind of did like the fishtail pattern on each of these little pieces, just to make them feel like they go. So I'm going to do that to each one of those pieces, and I'm also going to staple down these little arrow, like these little ribbon pieces. So again, I'm going to do that little fishtail thing on them, and because I didn't want to cut off the wording, I just hand did this. I just eyeballed it. I didn't really make sure I was exactly right. I just kind of wanted the imperfect look on it. And again, I'm going to cut off a little bit of that ribbon just because there was a bit too much overhang there. So just going to staple that down. And again, going to do the same thing to this other little title piece over here. And just layering everything down. And love that little cloud piece. I just like it. I think it's so cute. So here I'm going to staple down on one side, and then I'm going to get my foam pad and open up my tiny attacher and staple it down the other side. And I punched right through the paper. I don't know if it's maybe because this paper is so thin, it did kind of wreck the paper a little bit. I know it's hard to tell on camera, but I wasn't really pleased with that. So I had to go right onto the paper, and that's why I'm kind of off camera a little bit here. I was just trying to kind of staple it right into the paper just because I needed a little bit more oomph into the staples, just because it had already wrecked the paper. So here I'm just taking my scissors and just kind of poking those posts down. And I'm going to take a piece of washi tape and cover it up so that anybody who's moving the pages around, or me or anybody, they won't get those little pokey things in their fingers. And it still didn't stick down properly because of the paper, so I took a glue dot and glued down that ribbon. So now it won't come off for sure. But I still let the staples in just because I wanted to make it look like it was still stapled. And here you can see I moved that little arrow piece, and instead of it being on the horizontal, it's now changed to the vertical, so it's kind of pointing into the photos, and I like that a little better. And here I'm going to do my journaling, and again, I don't like people sitting there watching me doing my journaling because it does take me quite a while to figure out what I want to say. So we're going to jump past that, and ta-da, I'm almost done my journaling. And here I'm taking this stamp set, and this came from the main kit. Now, I learned a lesson on this. Apparently, this stamp can be stamped upside down, or I guess I said that wrong. I stamped it upside down. I did not know that there was a right way and a wrong way for this stamp set, but yes, I stamped it upside down because all of the words are curved. They're curved up, and the banner I stamped is curved down. So I had to take all of my little word stamps and curve them the other way. So I just manipulated the stamp. You'll see me kind of do that on the stamp block there, just kind of manipulating it to make sure it fits. So I was totally unaware that there was an upside down to that stamp set, and there is. So if you stamp that, make sure you stamp it so that the banner is curving up. And to me, that seems backwards. It seems like the banner should be curving down. Because any banner I've ever seen, like image-wise or whatever, the banners are usually curving down, not curving up. Anyway, that's kind of my little side note. So anyway, it can't remember what that says. I think it says today is more than just a good day. So yeah, it turned out, yeah, like I said, that's definitely stamped the wrong way. And here I took some of these little cloud stamps, and these came in a haul that I got a little while ago, and it's the Amy Tangerine Yes Please stamp set. So I added some clouds just because I had that kind of sketch looking like cloud and sun rub-on piece, and nothing else was kind of looking sketchish. So I wanted to add those little clouds, those little kind of sketchy clouds into this, just kind of make it feel like it fit in a little better. Not like I was just trying to use a rub-on just for the sake of trying to use a rub-on, which I was anyway. So anyway, that's pretty much how it went, but I wanted to make it at least look like I wasn't trying a little hard just to use a rub-on. Anyway, so here I was kind of losing my little wood veneers, so I just dumped my page down so I could find them. So here I'm adding little wood veneers to that little speech bubble. It says good times. So, and I kind of decided to do this. I don't know why, but here's a good tip that I figured out. If you're trying to glue down these little pieces and it's really hard to get the glue on, I've been squeezing the glue onto like this little scratch piece of paper. This is like a paper pad that I got from Close to My Heart when I was demonstrating for them. And I just squeezed the glue onto there, and then I just used the tip from the glue and just kind of dab it onto those pieces, so that way I don't get glue all over the place. And so it works out really good. I'm sure you could use that for glossy accents and stuff like that as well, if you have something really small that you need to glue down. So here I have this little geo tag, and this is from, I think, January's kit. Yeah, this is from January's kit from Studio Calico. So I wanted to add that to one of the pictures, just to kind of, you know, say this was kind of, I kind of use this as part of, like, you know, if we go traveling or trips or something like that. Like I did it for my like our Christmas trip to Manitoba, and then I also did it for our Vegas trip. So anytime like we've gone on a trip or whatever, I've been using these geotags. Not like I go on trips anymore, but I guess the idea would be nice to go on a trip. But so here I took some of these little basic gray enamel dots. I don't think they're called enamel dots. I think they're called candy dots or something like that. Anyway, gonna use those, and I put one in the middle of that geotag, and I'm just gonna add some to each of these little embellishments, and then I put one on each side of that, all smiles. And then another one over by that cloud, and then another one by that little wood veneer star, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And here is where the close-ups come in, and you can kind of see that little cloud pieces and how that gesso kind of worked out. So anyway, that is the layout. Again, like I said, it's not my favorite layout. I do like the idea of how it turned out, but not my favorite for sure. But anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the pictures. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye.